Hello, and welcome back to Idea Sex, where we take an analytical lens to mysticism, spirituality, the esoteric, and phenomena not previously understood. My name is Kiara, the Mad Witch, and I am super excited to be talking about another study today that gets at the intersection between spirituality and science. And this study ties a little bit back into a video that we did in the past, I think over a year ago, on Cleve Baxter. He was a polygraph expert for the CIA who found that plants are telepathic as just stumbled on that nifty little fact because he hooked plants up to lie detecting machines. And the way lie detecting machines work is they detect electrical activity on surfaces, whether that is human skin or plant leaves. And he found that when he thought angry things at the plants, I'm gonna f you up, little cactus, they would, there would be a jolt in the electrical activity that the plant was producing. So I guess he was under the impression that he was scaring them, and he did all these tests and found also that plants react like that before we eat them unless we pray over them. And I read this and I was like, how pseudoscientific, preposterous, good heavens, where's my martini? Just kidding, I don't drink. No alcohol, no caffeine, no sugar. God knows I don't need it.
Meanwhile,
2 shots of vodka.
Just water. But the more I read, the more I realized there is no room for arrogance, and certainly not thinking I know a goddamn thing, because sometime later I stumbled on a series of studies done by the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Dean Radin, who, if you're not familiar, he is a leading light in the field of parapsychology. His studies are more formal, contemporary, scientific, and it was in reading these that I really started to come around to the idea that not only should we speak sweet things to our plants, especially before we eat them, but human intention can affect the physical world. So this is really where I started to, my interest was piqued in mind-matter interaction, which is what we are going to start getting into today, but with chocolate.
We rise up from the dust and clean my throat.
All right, I'm going to read the study off of my phone, but I will insert some desktop screenshots there. Effects of intentionally enhanced chocolate on mood. From an orthodox scientific perspective, the idea that physical effects may be associated with focused intention is dismissed as a vestige of primitive beliefs about sympathetic magic. So the reigning paradigm in the world, but especially in the scientific world, is called the materialist paradigm. And it posits that matter, okay, is fundamental, but consciousness is a happy accident. We don't know how it got there. It was like on the 8th day, God sprinkled some fairy dust and bam, we had self-cognition. It's probably not how it works, but the materialist paradigm doesn't really make room for consciousness. It's sort of just something that's like stapled on and we don't really understand it. So there's a lot of holes in that paradigm, as you can imagine. And some of them, I think most scientists would agree on, like quantum weirdness, but some of it is a little more controversial, like mind-matter interaction. Mind-matter interaction is defined as physical effects associated with focused intention. And so the law of attraction is how most people, and laymen will say people like you and I, are familiar with MMI, mind-matter interaction, but still much of the world remains skeptical. And I think studies like this challenge that skepticism just a little bit. Here's how it worked. 75 participants were divided into 4 groups. Stratified random sampling was then used to create 4 groups matched by gender, average age, and amount of chocolate consumed per week. Prior to the experiment, participants received a packet containing a personality questionnaire, 7 copies of a mood questionnaire, and 6 half-ounce packages of dark chocolate. They were instructed to fill out the personality questionnaire on day 1 of the test, and later that evening to fill out the first mood questionnaire based on their mood over the course of that day. On day 2, in the evening, they filled out the second mood questionnaire. On days 3 through 5, they were asked to eat 1 half-ounce package of chocolate at 10 a.m. and another at 3 p.m., and then in the evening to fill out the mood questionnaire. They were requested not to gulp down the chocolate, but to mindfully savor each piece. The personality The personality assessment was used to evaluate neuroticism because neuroticism correlates directly with moodiness, and the scientists were basically like, well, if we have a bunch of moody bitches like Kiara, we have to account for that in our statistical analysis. I don't get like cranky or sad very often. I just have like 80 different personalities, in case you hadn't noticed, and you never know what you're gonna get. Bitch, I am a box of chocolates. The mood questionnaire was one of those self-reporting ones. It's called The Profile of Mood States. I'll link it in the description in case you're interested in seeing that. I don't know where the Sean Connery accent came from all of a sudden. Of the 4 groups, one was the control group. And so that was the group that received non-blessed chocolate, non-magical chocolate, just muggle chocolate. Okay, and the other 3 groups got chocolate frogs from the Wizarding World. Just kidding. They got the same exact chocolate, normal ass chocolate, except it had been blessed by different people using one of 3 methods. So the first method was a ritual done by a Mongolian shaman. The second was 6 experienced meditators meditating upon the chocolate, infusing it with their intentions. And the third group was a group of monks who imprinted a machine with a good intention that would then imprint the chocolate. So they made, I guess, like a happy machine that made happy chocolate. I just love that a bunch of like a group of grown-ass monks got paid to do that, presumably. I'm like, and I thought my job was exciting. I did it wrong. In all cases, the intention was the same. It was an individual who consumes this chocolate will manifest optimal health and functioning at physical, emotional, and mental levels, and in particular will enjoy an increased sense of energy, vigor, and well-being. Important to note, this was a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled experiment, so neither the people doling out the chocolate nor the chocoholics receiving it had any idea whether or not they had blessed chocolate or if anything had been done to the chocolate. They didn't know anything. They were just given chocolate and told to eat it. Now, a series of analyses were done on the results. Ended up being 62 participants who completed the study. I don't know, I think like 75 signed up. And I'm like, how hard can it be to eat 6 pieces of chocolate? But whatever, people are flaky. Analysis 1 examined the correlation between the neo factor of neuroticism and the average level of reported mood disturbance. If this correlation was positive, as expected, then a repeated measures analysis of covariance and CAVA would be employed for the remaining analyses, with the neo-neuroticism score used as a covariate and mood disturbance as the dependent variable. All that means is that if them moody bitches respond well to chocolate, then the scientists would know to account for that so the results aren't skewed. And like, yes, doctors, I can confirm my mood is easily improved by chocolate and belly rubs. Affirmative! Analysis 2 examined the overall effect of the mood disturbance over the course of a week. This was predicted to drop, partially in response to the placebo effect evoked by participating in this experiment, but also because of the psychoactive properties of consuming chocolate. In other words, the power of chocolate was expected to wane over time. Analysis 3 tested the hypothesis that mood in the intentional condition would improve over the 3 days in which chocolate was consumed, as compared with the same measures in the control condition. Put simply, the blessed chocolate would make people happier than the non-blessed chocolate. The results, please! That's a drum roll. It's probably just annoying. 1. Moody bitches are affected by chocolate, as expected. 2. Mood generally improved over the course of the week, peaking on day 3 and tapering down on 4, 6, and 7. And the ultimate conclusion, the mood-elevating properties of chocolate can be enhanced with intention. People in the blessed chocolate group collectively experienced greater effects. Blessing food with good intentions or giving thanks before eating a meal is something that's practiced in cultures all over the world throughout history, and maybe, just maybe, there's more to it than silly superstition. But what do you think? You know, it's one thing to eat your vegetables, but do you thank them before you eat them? I'd love to have idea sex with you about it in the comments. And in any case, thank you so much for joining me today. Heyo to the power and the sight. And until next time, I hope you stay very, very blessed, my friends. This jacket makes so much noise. It's my ASMR jacket. You like that? It's one thing to eat your vegetables. Do you thank them? Yeah, there you go. Okay. What's the question? You can't laugh at your own jokes. You have to stop that.